Good evening, I'm the Game Tutor, and tonight we're going to be going through my personal top 10 games of 2017. Now, while obviously we are traditionally a site that focuses on indie games, I always buck that trend with my yearly Game of the Year awards. Now, 2017 has been an outstanding year for video games and one where AAA developers really have started to fight back in terms of innovation along with the indies. Now, the Switch has easily ruled 2017, and as such, there's a lot more AAA on my list than normal. So come on 2018, let's make it a year for the indies. Number 10, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Now, PUBG really has been the breakout hit of the year, and I guess it technically is an indie game, even though we don't really look at it that way anymore. PUBG is an incredibly fun game that took the survival genre and made it into Battle Royale, and this game definitely deserves a place in our list. Number 9, Fate Extella The Umbral Star. Now, as we said in our review of Fate Extella The Umbral Star, it's a Muso game which has an outstanding multiple branching story that really gripped me this summer. Now, I played it on Switch, but the PC version is also excellent, and Fate Extella's mix of action and gripping plot is definitely one worth experiencing, and also it's one of the best Muso games out there. Number 8, Golf Story. Now, Golf Story is an unusual game. Take a classic 16-bit RPG style, remove all the fantasy and combat, and replace it with an arcade golf sim set in a land apparently made up but nothing but golf courses. Now, Golf Story is a really charming, fun game that I absolutely love from start to finish, and it rightfully deserves its place as number 8 on our list. Stardew Valley on Switch. Now, bear with me. I know that Stardew Valley was released 2 years ago, but Stardew Valley really found its hold on me this year when it was released on Switch. What was once a long sprawling game that was played over hours on a PC now became a game I could pick up and play an in-game day in a short burst, and in my opinion it became a much better game for it. Stardew Valley was a perfect fit on the Switch, and as such it's actually one of the best games on the system. To be honest, Stardew Valley was probably time-wise my most played game in 2017, and one that I wholeheartedly recommend if you haven't played it. Number 6, Super Mario Odyssey. Now, I always knew when I finished that Super Mario Odyssey was going to be on my Game of the Year list, but I wasn't quite sure where. Now, Super Mario Odyssey is an excellent game with a few unusual design choices. As a gamer with limited time, I'm often driven by progression and story development, and one of the weirdest things about Super Mario Odyssey is that you complete, sort of, the game without actually completing the vast majority of the game. Now, some of the worlds in Mario Odyssey are very cool, but they're an odd mix, and they're generally quite densely packed with very little in them. Don't get me wrong, I love Odyssey, but it has got a few flaws, and that makes it into the middle of my list rather than the top. Number 5, Resident Evil 7. Now, I've been burned by Resident Evil many times over the last few years, and apart from the Revelation series, if truth be told, I've not really enjoyed a Resident Evil series since the GameCube remake, and I was never that taken in by the Resident Evil 4 style of Resident Evil. Now, enter Resident Evil 7, and one of the best returns to form in recent memory. Only let down a little by its lackluster final third, Resident Evil 7 is one of the most innovative and by far the best horror game I've played in years, and definitely this year. Number 4, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, The Legend of Zelda has been a groundbreaking event of 2017, winning many Game of the Year awards and actually finding its way to the top of many people's best game of all time list. Now, picking up Zelda along with the Switch on day one, and that game scale absolutely took me back. Now, I personally preferred the world of Zelda to have felt a little bit more lived in, but there is no denying that Zelda Breath of the Wild was an excellent game to play through. It's not perfect, I felt it could have had a bit more in it, and had the DLC been a little bit better, this could have gotten further up the list. As such, Zelda's an excellent game, but not quite as good as number 3, Persona 5. Now, having never played a Persona game before, I approached Persona 5 with an open mind, and I was taken along a ride filled with interesting characters and cool symbolism. I mostly played the game in bed on Vita remote play, and I'd actually recommend anyone to play the game this way, as it really does break it down into nice little bite-sized chunks when you play a little bit before bed. Think about reading a big epic novel. It's an excellent title and a definite star of 2017. Number 2. Dead Cells. Now, compared to previous years, there were significantly less indie titles that really kept my attention this year, mainly as the AAA developers really upped their game after a lackluster 2016. Now, Dead Cells, however, was my indie game of 2017. An innovative roguelike Metroidvania, Dead Cells is almost perfect control-wise and is quite possibly one of the best playing 2D games available. Now, I'm not actually a massive fan of the most recent update and some of the changes, but Dead Cells really is one of the gems of 2017, and I cannot wait to play it on Switch. Number 1. Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, when Horizon first came out, I didn't play it because Zelda was out 1 week later. Eventually, when I was done in Hyrule, I sat down with Aloy for by far my favourite game of 2017. Gorgeous graphics, a super engaging story, a likeable protagonist that was female but not overly sexualised, and excellent gameplay. Some of the best gaming moments of my year come from taking down huge robots in awesome landscapes, using a bow and explosives and really drawing you in. Horizon Zero Dawn is fantastic in every way, and along with the Frozen Wild expansions that only adds to it, this is by far my best game of 2017. If you've enjoyed tonight's video, please like and subscribe. Remember to come and check us out at thegametutor.co.uk, where news, articles and videos are updated on a weekly basis. Also, please check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Dailymotion.